if you're watching this video, it is too late. It is approximately October 2033. At that point, it is far too late to take back the actions of what you've done. This message is the... I'm kidding. God damn. Whew. Way to make an entrance, right? Anyhow. Hair's probably messy, but that's what happens when you've been a bottom. Anyhow, let's kick this episode of the Broken Kid podcast. Can't breathe. Not a lot of air holes in that mask. It's like asphyxiation, autoerotic asphyxiation. But anyhow, we're back and we are ready to do this episode of the Broken Kid podcast. The reason I was wearing that mask is because I wanted to set the tone for a cult. The story, there's a part 2. You hear that coughing? But there's a part 2 to the part 1 story, but this is a different version. This is a different retelling of the time that I worked at, that I got rejected from a cult. I didn't know it. Now you might be wondering, what kind of cult is this? Is this like a Charles Manson type of cult? Is it a cult where they make you drink the Kool-Aid? Is it a cult where you sacrifice animals? And I'd say kinda, because I applied to this job. That's right, it was a normal job, and so I thought it was. And this job was to be pretty much a dog care assistant. I was going in, I was pretty happy. I applied to this local place. It's called Puppyland, and there's a few of them in Arizona. I won't say which one because it doesn't really matter, because they're all the same. Now, if you hear the word cult and you think of something bad, that's absolutely right. And if you think, well, what is he going to say about this place that makes it a cult, that makes it so bad, that it is bad, then you are on the right track, because this place is kind of bad to work at. I'm not going to lie. Now, I did sign an NDA, a non-disclosure, or an agreement to not do anything, pretty much. And my producers told me not to do this. My lawyer told me not to do it. But how are they going to know it's me? I don't know. Maybe this will get out, and maybe it's journalism. I call it running a podcast. Right now, my producers, they're worried. But anyhow, so I fill out the application to go because I wanted a part-time job on the side to make more money, because YouTube only pays so much. So go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe now, please. Subscribe now. Okay? Good. If you didn't do it, it doesn't matter, because I'm not one of those people who likes to beg. Me asking about 20 seconds ago for you guys to subscribe, it's fictitious. It wasn't real. You guys don't have to do that. If you subscribe because you want to. Just like I wanted to work at this place. If you want to work at a place, you're going to want to work at a place if you feel like it's aligned with you. So, it was just supposed to be a taking care of dogs position. And essentially this place is a dog. It sells puppies. It's called Puppyland. That's exactly what it's called. If you think it's generic, then you're right, because it was probably named by a white woman who gets the same order at Starbucks every day at the same time, at the same location, with the same amount of pumps of cream, And anyhow, I have the interview. I interview. It goes well. They want to do a working interview, which was an hour, which I don't even know what the fuck that means, because we didn't do shit. Essentially, all they did was spill the tea on everything they do wrong. Because I go in there, they start showing us around, and the lady says don't mix chemicals with other chemicals because of how they have to use cleaning chemicals to disinfect everything. And she was telling me the rundown about how, they have the puppies on display, but they're young. They're like less than a year. And about how these puppies are essentially so prone to sickness that, yes, they might be in clumps of 3 or 5 puppies, but you have to be careful because the way you approach them, if you touch one herd of puppies, you can't go to another herd because it might fucking give them herpes or some shit. I don't know. I thought, you're right. I mean, like I've heard of young living organisms having low immune systems, but goddamn, like these are animals. Like they're domesticated. And yes, there was truth to what she was saying apparently because I looked it up, but I go back there and she's like, don't mix these chemicals with those chemicals because it's gonna create a chemical burn and mustard gas. And I'm like, okay, yeah, people should kind of know that by now. And then she was telling me about how they do doggy play. It's like a 30-minute a day, 30 minutes for a puppy to play, and you get this like makeshift fence. You put it around, and then you mop, and all that stuff was like pretty boring and rudimentary. But it got weird because she said, and no one, under no circumstance, should no customer know about this room. And there's obviously, it's a big wooden door, and it says ISO. I'm like, oh God. And what could that stand for? And I thought, isolation? And she opens it, and there's like 3 dogs that are sick, and they're like kind of not really fighting for their life, but they're coughing. They're like, kind of like that penguin from Toy Story 1 who was always wheezing. I think his name was Wheeze. And she tells us this. She's like, no one should know that we got any sick animals. The customers should not know that our dogs do not get sick. And then she told us, she said, in order to administer like a medication, like when you put that mask for your phlegms, she said, I don't know in what world this is professional. I'm not professional because if I was, I wouldn't be doing this in front of a camera for it to get, exposure. But anyhow, I think people should know. It's not about the dogs. I don't do it for the dogs. I do it to gain empathy for my experience about nearly joining a cult. But she said we put the dogs in it was a plastic container. Oh my God, that was scary. Right there, I literally thought God was after. Like, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong? That was creepy. We're gonna turn this light on. But anyhow, I'm not making this up right now. Anyhow, there was like a container. It was like this big. It was clear and it had a lid. And she said we put the dogs here, and we pretty much, I don't know how they do it, but she verbatim she said we hotbox the dogs with the medication for their lungs so that they can clear the phlegms, the mucus, I don't know exactly what it was, but what I'm trying to get at is it seemed very rudimentary. It seemed like they were not well equipped. And why are the dogs getting sick so often that you guys don't have any veterinary sufficient care? You guys were like, you guys were as if you guys were a pet store that sells dogs that are ready to be sold. Maybe don't sell them that young if you don't have what's equipped. And that's the thing. If I worked for that place, they would have been doing so many things that were not ethical. Like not having proper veterinarian care. And apparently there's like proper things there's a way to breed dogs that I didn't know. And it's a good thing I got my dog from hopefully the Humane Society. But now it makes me question if my dog was abused, because he's like scared of like dishes. I don't know if he was beat up by his past owner with dishes. But after she said that, she's like, and now that that's out of the way, you must sign. She's like, you must sign. She pulls out like a flyer from the table. You must sign these NDAs that you will not tell anyone what we do here, and that you will not go around telling them. Okay. I mean, and then this is the thing that was interesting. Apparently, Armie Hammer, the cannibal, he told me that he didn't tell me, I don't know him, but he there was a clip that I saw where he said, if you're dumb if you think that let me see, what is this, god damn it, TV. He was saying that you're stupid if you think NDAs do anything, which is kind of right, you know. You're I mean, unless you're criminals make NDAs. People that are guilty, it's incriminating. You know who else does NDAs, I guess, or agreements not to talk prematurely? I would say Marvel, because they don't want, you know, which makes sense. But it's kind of innocent. Marvel's, when they do that, it's more for protecting, you know, the property, the creative property. Here, they were obviously doing something wrong. And then it gets even worse because, God, no, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's a good thing I didn't get the job offer, and I wasn't going to take it because I didn't know. And you know what? The weird thing is, like about 2 months prior, I had seen that job post, and it has been circulating a lot. Like, as in, they get people, they take down the post because that job has been filled, and then that person quits. You get a new one, and then it's just a cycle. It's a new post, they get that filled, and then it's a cycle and a cycle and a cycle. I didn't get a call back, thank God, because what they told us next was that we had to if a dog got severely sick, we would have to do this. We would have to take it home if it was dying, if it became hypoglycemic, which, from my understanding, I know there's hyperglycemia. All it means is blood sugars are low, and that if it's so dangerously low, it can die. Which they said if it gets low, you have to take it home. You have to force feed it every 2 hours at night, and you get paid 40 hours. It sounds like people are trying not to spend money. It sounds like you guys are trying to keep things on the low. And third of all, why don't you pay for the veterinarian bills? Take it to a vet. We're not vets. You're not a vet. You work with pets, but you're not fully educated. You're not licensed, I don't think. I don't think she was. She wasn't. She looked like a walking red flag. Everyone there was a walking red flag. They were all complacent in the whole thing of hurting these animals. And these dogs, to the untrained eye, could look happy, but I mean, when you see what was happening, it's bad. And they were telling us not to do all these things, not to tell anyone, to be unethical and to be okay with it, all for minimum wage. And also, she's like, well, you know, this. I also did my working interview with another person, which is kind of weird and rushed. But the thing that really caught me, that also was weird, it was a weird hour. I get to my car, I'm done with the working interview, even though we didn't do anything. We didn't do shit. I get into my car, I drive off, and as I'm driving out into the parking lot to get into the main street to drive home, there's like 5 women protesting with like boards and everything, saying it's a puppy mill. Now, the way they get by not being a puppy mill is by saying no. We are not the puppy mill. We pay somebody else who goes to a puppy mill, then we buy them from the middleman, and we get them. So, you know, we don't directly help out the puppy mill inadvertently. But yeah, it was weird. And then they pay a lot of money for it. And then these dogs die. They end up dying, or they end up getting really sick once they have been bought. Or you can take out a loan. And I told myself, this is a cult. Now, I never thought this could turn into a horror movie. It could turn into one of those movies that's very like mundane and seems boring, and then there's something darker at the end of it. I think this could be one of those, but it's a good thing. And now, if you're watching this and the story here, things are not always what they seem, and if you expect things to be in your face, scary, or, you know, flashing red lights, you know, sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's quite different. Sometimes it's actually quite subtle, and they do a good job of hiding it. So be careful, because your next job that you apply to, you might be applying to a fucking cult. So be careful.